In this one, we'll be talking about A Discovery of Witches. This review will contain spoilers, so be sure to watch it before you watch this. Discovery of Witches is a series about Diana Bishop. She is an academic historian who falls in love with a centuries-old vampire as she discovers her own power.
Look, you don't just say the words, okay? You have to concentrate on what you desire. You feel it, set your power alight.
I always gotta critique the magical system. I thought this one was handled well. It was based on set your intention and then use your emotion to bring out the magical power and drive the spell. Which works very well if you want to develop your characters. Because you're always asking the questions, what kind of emotion is going on inside of them? What are they using for their magic?
Honey, you need to think about Matthew. Magic's in the heart, not the mind.
I did it. The house has been known to misbehave with new people.
I also loved the house that had a life of its own. The house was a character in itself.
Just let you know, the house has a mind of its own, so don't be scared.
Slamming doors, flickering lights. One time the whole second floor disappeared for a week.
And it was a really beautiful house, but I liked it because unlike the Practical Magic house, which was like my dream home, and the Witches of East End house, which is my other dream home, the Practical Magic house looks like what it would look like the day after the cleaning lady came. And this, it looks like what it looks like when people actually live in it. It looked very witchy. They had herbs hanging everywhere, but it wasn't pristinely clean, and every corner wasn't like perfectly decorated. It looked more authentic, like a little cottage, but then it had cool magical elements where it came to life.
What is going on?
Magic house.
The house doesn't like it when we argue.
I'm going to talk about Discovery of Witches novel versus Discovery of Witches show. The person who wrote the script took the book and said, I'm going to handle this screenplay and this script for all these episodes the way I would have if I edited this novel. They made it better. In the book and the show, Diana is a witch. She's a descendant, hereditary witch. She's a descendant of Bridget Bishop and Proctor, John Proctor.
Of course.
Yeah.
Always Bishop and Proctor. Always. Not Putnam.
Fuck those guys!
Screw the Putnams. Not the Putnams.
Fuck those guys!
300 years. Nobody got married and changed their last name. Nobody today has the last name of a woman they were related to 300 years ago, because in the United States when we get married, we take our husband's name. So the idea that she would still be named Bishop and her father was still named Proctor after 300 years was ridiculous. If your family tree does not fork, you might be a hereditary witch. The book plays this up a little bit more, and the book constantly talks about her heritage and how because she's a proctor and a bishop, she's so strong.
Yeah, and the show still has her descended from people in Salem.
You look so much like your namesake. It's Sarah Bishop, your ancestor. She taught me how to set a broken leg at the Battle of Bunker Hill.
But it's only mentioned a couple of times. It's easy to overlook.
When they wrote the script, it was very much downplayed. Kind of knew that was incredibly stupid and unrealistic. Stop writing this. Stop writing this bullshit story about how witches are descendants of the Salem witch trials. If you are a descendant of somebody from the Salem witch trials, congratulations. You're a descendant of a repressed Puritan. When we first meet Diana in the book and she first meets Matthew, like an anesthesia steel idiot, she falls down the stairs right into his arms. She's clumsy, she's awkward. In the show when they meet, it's actually like a battle of wills.
You're a vampire.
I didn't think that witches were allowed to show their magic in public. Not in control of yourself, Dr. Bishop?
I'm perfectly in control. Thank you. You're following me. Checked in with the staff at the bod. You're in and out of there 5 minutes max. You were looking for me.
Not because you enjoyed my thesis on Robert Boyle. What do you want?
This is a very intelligent woman acting at the height of her intelligence. She knows what he is, and she's reluctant and hesitant to talk to him because of that. She just comes across as a much more strong, interesting person, where in the book she just seems like a weak-willed idiot. Then in the show and in the book, Diana calls her aunts.
Hello.
Hey, it's me.
In the show, they talk about everything that's going on about their own lives.
Really, Diana, it's time you faced what you are. A witch.
We've been over this, Sarah. I'm a historian. That's what I am.
Oxford might offer me a professorship.
Oh, honey, that is wonderful news, Diana.
In the book, Diana calls her aunts, and all they talk about is Matthew. Diana had 1 second interaction with him. She fell down the stairs into his arms. They didn't say anything to each other. That was it. And then that one incident, oh, well, I have to have a 45-minute conversation about my aunts about this. You didn't talk to him. Nothing happened, but the aunts were like, you need to stay away from him because he's bad. They don't talk about anything but Matthew.
Yeah, that doesn't just fail the Bechdel test. That completely steamrolls over it.
In the book, when Matthew and Diana meet, all Diana notices is his physical perfection, how beautiful he is, his face and his hair and his chest and his arms. Was there anything about his brain? No. There's certain ways that like men are shot in movies that I can't stand, like Brad Pitt in Legends of the Fall, where every single frame is like a photo shoot for what his study is.
Warm lighting.
Yeah.
Soft focus.
BK.
Wind in the hair.
I have a nice body and I want to show it off. Beefcake! Beefcake!
Now, if they had been true to the Discovery of Witches novel, they could have shot it that way, but they didn't.
Yeah, Matthew himself wasn't this big hunky guy. Reasonably good-looking dude.
He seems like a character who actually has some insecurities and deep psychological issues from being alive for hundreds of years.
She's a historian. I am her latest research subject.
And you fear she'll come to know your past.
He seems layered in the show. In the book, he was just like, hot, sexy vampire guy. I wonder if that's ever been done before.
When I'm out walking, I strut my stuff, and I'm so strung out.
Oh, and the Twilight cliche too of she's got the vampire attracting smell that makes her extremely biteable. That just sends him into a psychotic and homicidal but strangely erotic furor as soon as he catches a whiff of her pheromones or whatever.
God, I know, but that's why like the scene when he's like going down on her like grossed me out so much. Oh my God!
Like, oh shit!
No, you don't want vampire teeth by that area.
Hey,
no.
Just imagine if it was her time of the month. You don't have to leave that one in.
Oh, I'm leaving it in.
All right. People are unsubscribing as we speak.
Don't want fangs by my genitalia. Don't have a vampire go down on you. Ow! And honestly, the romance could have been better. Very quickly, she gets incredibly loyal and falls in love with him. The writers just told us that instead of showed us. They go to his mother's house and they hang out, and then suddenly she is so incredibly in love with him. She will do anything for him. She will stay there and be loyal to him even though everyone is telling her to leave and to forget about him and they cannot be together.
I will never leave him. Of course you will. Your life is fleeting compared with a vampire's.
I love Matthew.
That's impossible. Witches and vampires can't be together.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me that. I love you.
3 weeks ago, you never even heard of me. You don't know me. You have no idea what I'm capable of. You don't even know yourself.
Could you be with my son knowing that he kills? That hunting like this is the only way for him to survive?
If you're trying to frighten me away from your son, you failed.
We didn't see him earn that level of loyalty. It just happened. What would have been really cool, because she's a historian, she should have been researching some period in history.
You knew Charles Darwin?
Yes.
Where she had a thesis and she just could not find the missing piece to complete this thesis, and because he's hundreds of years old and have lived through all these centuries. It would have been cool if he had been the person who led her to the missing piece that she needed for her career.
Will you please tell me about William Harvey? To this historian, it is the closest thing I'll get to meeting the man that discovered that the heart is a pump.
That would have been like a bonding experience, but we don't see that.
They did a lot of work on the characters themselves and their backstories and what they want, and that was good, but more work needed to be done on the relationship between the characters.
We are bound together. My magic started coming out when I met you.
Your favorite story, the magic ribbons and the shadowed prince.
Matthew, you are in their stories.
We will always be one. Diana, I love you.
There was a fair amount to like in this series. We liked the world building elements. It seemed like a real developed society of witches and vampires and demons.
We created vampires.
That's just a myth.
Vampires have used their brute power and longevity to gain far too much control, but if we created them, then we could uncreate them.
You get the feel that all these secret societies go back centuries and have a rich history. It's rewarding to see these three disparate groups, the vampires, the witches, and the demons, and how they have these eons-old bigotries between the three groups.
Diana didn't kill Philippe.
Her kind killed him.
You shy away from us and yet you seek out vampire company.
I'm not a bigot like you.
Makes me sick that she debates herself with a vampire. Assuming your kind are wiped from the face of the earth, the better.
There's a theme of unity and coming together for common goals.
Vampires, witches, and demons all together under the same roof.
There's 3 vampires here, 3 witches, along with the 3 of us. No one's killed anyone. Yeah.
To unusual friendships.
Unusual friendships.
Evil is less a person, although there are some fairly evil people in it, but it's more of the idea of intolerance and prejudice that these characters have to rise above, and I thought that was a good theme.
So we're going back to London.
To 1590.
Do not let go, no matter what.
Never.
It's time.
I'm intrigued. I want to see what happens in season 2.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to watch. I think they're doing season 2 and 3, so we will definitely watch those. Our next review is actually going to be a writer's review. We're going to do Dune 1984 versus the new Dune.
And of course, like and subscribe. If you like stories about magic and other worlds, be sure to check out my website, adamburkewriter.com. Maybe get one of the books.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.